What's happening out there? It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles live, hosted by, sponsored by Fryette Amplification and New York Hardcore Comics. Greetings to everyone around the world. Thanks for checking in. We got a great show today. We're super excited. So I hope you are too. And I hope everybody is safe out there and careful. Let's see. Let's get cracking here. See if anybody's checking in. Here we go. Yeah, this is an exciting show. I also want to share a couple of other shows coming up. You know, of course, this Sunday is the Godfather of Hardcore, Mr. Vinny Stigma. That's this show. So everybody got to jump in on that. Vinny Stigma, the Godfather of New York Hardcore, and then this Tuesday coming up is Mr. Jimmy G from Murphy's Law. So everybody got to jump in on that as well. And then, of course, on Wednesday, we got the old school Boston Hardcore show. That's going down with Jack Kelly and Jamie from SSD Control. And then after that is Sub-Zero, and so on and so forth. A lot of great shows lined up. In the meantime, I want to thank everybody that's gotten on my Patreon page and has supported me, supported this show. I'm going to run the banner here. Patreon is really what enables me to do this. And hey, look, let's be frank here. You know, I'm a fucking filmmaker. That's what I do. That's what I do. And it's hard in this day and age to exist as an independent filmmaker. So every now and then, I need support with a show like this, with the A7 Back to the New York Hardcore Roots show series. And so there you go. The Patreon page is running at the bottom there. And please, come aboard. I want to thank a few people that just jumped on. Brian Whitmore, absolutely, man. Thank you so much. A7 Rampage crew guy jumped in big time. I appreciate the support. Cookie McPhillips, James Pape, Phil Bowden, Sasha Falk, Larry the Hunter, Andrea CSS. Thank you all for coming in and getting involved on Patreon. So that said, welcome everybody. We're gonna have a great show. Let's kick it off. Let's get down with picture of the day, Mr. Steven Messina. What's happening, bro?
What's up? How you doing?
How you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. Not too bad at all.
Good. Hey, let's jump right into it. I want to keep things moving today. Let me dig out picture of the day and let's see what we got here. Anybody out there? Let's hear it. So here you go. Picture of the day. What do we got here? So it looks to me. Well, I kind of know what this is. I know who these guys are. This looks like, well, let me see if anybody else out there, if anybody else knows what this is. No redeeming. Well, I think that's a safe bet. This does look like no redeeming social value to me. I don't know what's going on with the dude with the beer and is it going Guar? So it said Guar. That's kind of close. What's High Pitch Eric? Is that the guy with the beer?
He sat there the whole show and just drank beers in his underwear.
All right, so my guess and a lot of other guesses is that, oh wait, here we go. This is Alan the Gut, someone says. This is Alan the Gut. That's Alan the Gut. All right, well, there you go. So picture of the day, is it safe to say that this is no redeeming social value?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Tell us a little bit about this.
This is, I believe this is 07, and this was BB King's in New York City, which I really liked going to shows there. That was a pretty good place to see shows, and it was a great bill. In fact, it was Ludachrist, Scatterbrain, No Redeeming, and Norman Bates and the Showerheads. And And
That's a good
it
one.
was a great.
Norman Bates and the Showerheads. That's a good one.
And and it was a great show. I mean, obviously, like all the that was it was a great time period because they did the Ludacris like reunion, and it was right around the same time as the Crumbsuckers reunion. So there was all kinds of things were kind of buzzing, and BB King's was getting great shows. And
here you go. Here's Thomas Sullivan checking in. I remember seeing them at the Voodoo Lounge in Queens, and that dude drinking beers on a couch on the stage in his tighty whities. I guess that's part of their gig, huh?
Well, he's like that guy in the Boss Tones that just dances,
Right. That's cool. All right, there you go. Picture of the day, Stephen Messina. Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you in a bit.
Absolutely.
All right. Stephen Messina, ladies and gentlemen. Picture of the day. Keeping it moving here. Let's bring on Ratbones. Let's hear what's going on with him. Hold on. Yo, Ratbones, what's happening?
Oh, what's up?
What's happening, bro? Let's jump right into it. What do you got?
Let's jump right into it. I got a three-peat today. There's a theme. There's an overall theme. See if you'll get it. So we got these badass figures. Mr. Miyagi-san.
Oh.
The Karate Kid. And I think that's Bruce Lee. I got these. It's an 80s theme. We got an 80s theme going on today.
Mr. Miyagi, bro. What's happening?
All right.
Who's the dude in the middle?
Maybe like a Bruce Lee knockoffy dude.
Okay. Is that what's his name? Is that the other guy, not Mr. Miyagi? Who's the other one? Ralph Macchio. Is that Ralph Macchio?
Chachi.
Chachi. I like Ralph. No, Ralph Macchio is a big hockey fan. Ralph Macchio is a big New York Islander fan. So,
all right,
little shout out to Cousin Joe there, big Islander fan.
Round two, guys. Everybody had these. The LJN thick rubber wrestler guys. This Andre the Giant it's pretty cool.
Cool.
All right, and the last one that ties it all together, because we got today, the Madball.
Is that a Madball?
See if you get it. It's actually a knockoff. It's not an original Madball, but it's pretty cool looking.
Well, that's pretty appropriate for the show. That's pretty appropriate for the show today.
See if you get the theme, the Karate Kid. Wrestling. Makes sense.
All right, cool.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
Thank you, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. There you have it. Collectible of the day with Ratbones. New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, sponsored by Fred Amplification and New York Hardcore Comics. Next up, to keep it moving, we want to keep things moving today. We want to keep things moving. We got a great guest. Lots of questions. This is going to be fun. Next up, real quick, what's up with Sid the Kid? What's happening, man?
What up, Drew? What up, everybody? Like I said, we're going to keep this short and sweet. Good. Let's get to that record today, man. Let's go for it.
Record of the day, bro. Record of the day. Here you go. Boom. Record of the day. How about that?
Come on, guys. If you don't know
what's up with
this is one of those New York hardcore bands you cannot sleep on. Absolutely not. This record came out back in '88 by Schism originally, but then was re-released a year later on Revelation. 5 songs, all in your face and to the point. I mean, even, hardcore has those roots, but if it wasn't for punk rock and oi, I mean, come on. They even pulled out that Blitz cover and they nailed it 100%. And, I mean, there's really not too much to say about it, but as I've gotten older, this record grew on me more and more, just simply because it's in your face. And Mike, I could say even to this day, has a humongous influence on me, like musically and just speaking out, like just what you feel, pretty much.
Okay.
So, I mean, do you have anything to say about this, Drew? About this record yourself?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm a generation, sort of an older generation than when this record came out. So for me, I sort of got exposed to this a little bit later on. I really got into Judge once they started playing shows again. And actually, when I started doing the New York Hardcore Chronicles film and really doing research and getting into it, I interviewed Mike Judge for the film. And, as part of research for any film I do, I just really, went deep and started listening to all their stuff and really got exposed to them. So, I don't say I'm a late bloomer as far as Judge goes, but it took, it was a couple of years ago that I really started to get into them. But, having seen them play live a bunch of times since then, it's pretty great. And I think it's great that they got back together. I mean, that year that they played the Black and Blue Ball was amazing.
Oh yeah, no, those 2 nights were unforgettable. I mean, like, still, even though it's been a few years, it feels like it happened a couple of months ago. It was so amazing. Just simply, and also because it's a fact that Porcelli played in Judge. He also played in Youth of Today. Those 2 bands alone, still, even now, can still put on a great live show no matter what.
There you go. All right, man. Thanks. We'll talk to you in a bit.
All righty, guys. Enjoy the rest of the stream, man. This is going to be fun. Can't wait to see the rest of it.
DJ Sid the Kid, everybody. There you go. Record of the day, the Judge record. Thanks a lot. Once again, sponsored by Fryette Amplification and New York Hardcore Comics. Let me take a second. Fryette Amplification is a small company that makes guitar amps, attenuators, and direct recording products in North Hollywood, California. Their gear is used by the Deftones, Helmet, Candiria, Stone Temple Pilots, Power Flow, Antidote, Volbeat, Downset, and many other heavy bands. The brand new Deliverance 2 heads are now available at Fryette.com. So that's, we put a banner up real quick, just so you know. Boom, Fryette. Get your shoes and socks on, kids. It's right around the corner. So that said, let's get the ball rolling here. I want to bring on our guest of the show today. A little background. I go back with this guy quite a ways, back with his family a bit. Here's a little intro that I put together. Freddy Cricien, also known as Freddy Madball, is the vocalist of the New York hardcore band Madball, as well as one of the vocalists of Hazen Street. Freddy was born in Passaic, New Jersey. His mother's from Havana, Cuba. His father is from Colombia. He has 3 older siblings, the eldest being Roger Moret from Agnostic Front. At 5 years old, Freddy and his family relocated to Florida. Roger stayed behind and soon after became immersed in New York hardcore scene, an underground subculture which he helped pioneer. When Freddy was about 7 years old, he visited with his brother in New York City and began to perform on stage with Agnostic Front. Shortly after, he went out on tour with them. At 12 years old, he recorded Madball's first 7-inch Ball of Destruction. It consisted of used and unused Agnostic Front material. The original lineup featured Roger Moret on bass, Vinny Stigma on guitar, Will Shepler on drums, and Freddy on vocals. In 1992, Madball recorded and released Droppin' Many Suckers EP. This recording featured original music and the addition of Matt Wildcard Henderson on guitar. In the years to follow, Madball continued to release new albums. Set It Off in 94, Demonstrating My Style in 96, Look My Way in 98, Been There, Done That in 98, Hold It Down 2000, New York Hardcore 2004, Legacy 2005, Infiltrate the System 2007, Empire in 2010, The Rebellion EP in 2012, Hardcore Lives in 2014, and most recently, For the Cause. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend and yours, Mr. Freddy Madball. What's up, buddy?
Yo, what's happening?
Hey. Oh, are you driving the car?
Nah, I'm not driving. I'm not driving. It's stationary. I'm just here. This is like the quietest place I can find.
Well, we appreciate that. Welcome,
man,
welcome.
no
It's good
problem.
to see you, man.
My pleasure, man. Good to be here.
How are you? How's everything okay? The family, everything?
Everybody's good, man. Everybody's hanging in there. Everybody, just ready to get outside. I mean, we're outside, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Out to places, out and about.
You know?
Well, they're talking about loosening things up pretty soon, so hopefully,
Yeah.
Hopefully that's the case, because I know we're in the same state, so hopefully, things are going to loosen up a bit,
Right. That's
Yeah.
the hope. That's the hope. Is that
All
lighting
right,
all
so
right in there?
yeah. Let's kick it around a little bit. First off, how about telling us as we jump in here, what's up with what's up with the band, and where were you at when this thing hit, and what's the status of the band?
We had just come back from California. We had toured in California, and we were getting ready to go to Europe for Rebellion Tour, which is a tour that we do every year in Europe. It's a branded tour that I created 9 years ago, and much love. It's a shame because it's a tour that we really look forward to doing, and it's also an important. This is how we make our living.
Absolutely.
So it's important on so many levels, and it was going to be our first Europe tour of the year, blah blah blah. And then literally days before everything went real crazy, it was already starting to build up. Like there might be an issue in Europe, there might be venue closures, blah blah blah. So I was like constantly leading up to it, constantly on the phone, constantly dealing with stuff. And then when I saw a few venues like shut down, then I made the call. I had to make the executive call to be like, it's done. The tour is not going to happen. And literally the next day, President Trump said, all foreign travel is banned. And
Right.
technically not for Americans. Like, I guess I could have flown there, but I would have probably gotten stuck. There would have been no shows, and then I would have had a hard time getting back. So thankfully, we shut it down. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we know a couple people that kind of got caught out there and got stuck over there, and I had Chris Contos from Machine Head on the show. He said they were out there touring when the whole thing was hitting, and they all got sick. So
wow.
yeah, it's a scary situation. While we're at it, let's shout out a couple of our friends. Your brother Roger checking in. Scotty Banks checking in. What's happening? What's happening,
What's up,
Scott?
man?
There you go. Here you go. From Samuel Bleen. Freddie has the best big brother in the world. There you go.
Cool.
So we'll bounce around a little bit, but I got to say that you have an incredible work ethic, and I sort of know where you got this from, because I'm friends with been friends with your brother for a long time. Your brother has an incredible work ethic. He always did. I used to call him the hardest working man in hardcore. And I mean, and you have an incredible work ethic as well. Can you give us a little take on where does that come from?
Well, I think you said it. I think I definitely learned a lot from him as far as Madball. I mean, as far as music goes, because he was my original mentor. So yeah, I would have to credit him with teaching me a lot as far as how to navigate through this whole hardcore thing and music thing, obviously. And so yeah, I definitely picked up. But we would have to also credit, I guess, our family. Because everyone in my family has a good and strong work ethic. So it would have to go back to that. It would have to originate there, like with my mom and my dad and whoever. You know what I'm saying? My brother, everybody. Everybody has it's always been about work hard to get what to take care of your family and to get what you need to get. Roger said runs in the family. I see his comment there. Runs in the family.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, and that's part of this thing about hardcore in general is if you have the work ethic and you put yourself to it and you're not afraid to get grimy and do some work, and you have some perseverance pays off in the end in hardcore. That's one of the things that I love about it. And you guys grounded out for a long time and really put in a lot of work, man.
Yeah, we're still grinding it out, man. It's one of those things. But I mean, you can't forget also the passion side of it, because I work hard at anything, any job I've ever had. I've had that same work ethic, and my brother would probably say the exact same, and my brother Rudy and my sister, we all have that work ethic thing. But to stay in this thing in particular, I think that passion is also a key thing. Like, you have to be passionate about what you do to do anything for an extended period of time, but especially this, because in the music world, as you know, this is not, monetarily speaking, this is not the most lucrative branch of the music world. You got to really grind it out, and to make this your livelihood and your living, you have to really work hard, but really be passionate about what you do, and it has to translate, to people, to be around as long as some of us have been around.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of a lot of things.
Yeah, and the thing which we've learned, one of the things is about hardcore and art in general, is sort of the wave goes in and the wave goes back out, and you hang in there, and art is cyclical in nature, and sometimes we're doing great, sometimes we're a little down, but
Feast of famine.
it comes around. I want to put a picture up, and I want to talk about this picture for a second here. Let me dig in here. I got some really great ones here, man. This is a Randall Underwood photo, and I know you've seen it many times before.
Oh yeah.
And this photo obviously actually looks like Gildersleeves, maybe Great Gildersleeves.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
if I'm not mistaken, I mean, Roger would probably be the guy to he would be able to pinpoint it for sure. But because I was very young at that point, so my memory of it is sort of vague. But if you can see that banner in the back of the set list, you see that humongous set list. I mean, this is definitely way early '80s, because that set list, like, people don't do that anymore. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. That's Gildersleeves, and I think that might have been the first time I ever performed with them. It might have been, he might have captured that moment the first time I performed with AF. That might be the one.
And how old are you here?
7 or 8.
Wow.
8, 7 or 8, 7 going on 8, somewhere around there had to be.
Here you go. Here's your brother checking in. Yes, Gildersleeves. So
yeah.
And not only does he know it's Gildersleeves, but he says the month is April. So, and then
oh my God.
We had other people. This is what's great about the show. Other people chime in. 1983, a great Gildersleeves. And so, listen, I guess it's safe to say in a lot of ways that you really grew up on stage to a certain extent, right?
Yeah, to a degree. Yeah, man. I didn't, it wasn't all year round. I wasn't, touring all year round or living in the city all year round type thing. But I definitely grew up in it, and hardcore kind of chose me. I chose it. I went along with it because I did embrace it. I do love it, but it kind of chose me in a way too. It's one of those weird things, weird situations, but it was awesome.
I was thinking about this, and I do a lot of homework for these shows, and I was thinking that in a lot of ways you're like the Tiger Woods of hardcore.
Dang, nice.
It's because I was thinking, because Tiger Woods grew up in golf, his father was in it, and he grew up in it, and that's why it was in his blood, And you really grew up in it, and it was really in your blood. Let me ask you a question. When you were a young kid, and you were around that era, were there any other influences that, musically? Like, did you see any other bands in those early days that you remember that, like, as a young I won't even say teenager, but as a young kid, you were like, yo, I love that band, or I like this band, or I can relate to this band?
Well, I happened to see Bad Brains in that time period, and they impressed the hell out of me, obviously. I mean, especially in that time period, it was around that same time. And it was either before that picture was taken or right after, around that same time period, I feel like. But yeah, I think I saw the Bad Brains with my brother Roger, and that impressed me. And then as the years went on, just all those early New York hardcore bands always, I just loved the whole culture. I loved every part of it. I mean, the Murphy's Laws, the War Zones, everybody, everybody, sick of it all, everybody.
Yeah.
I embraced the culture. I mean, there's obviously flavors that you're into more than others. There's all that, everybody has their preferences. Some people, everyone has their different, their cup of tea that they like, but yeah, man, the whole movement, the whole thing made an impression on me majorly, and obviously Agnostic Front was a major part of that, because just being around them and watching them play and watching the interactions, it was a big I was in school. I was learning a lot.
And also it was a very exciting, vibrant time also in New York City.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was rugged. It was rugged. It was grimy.
Yeah.
Which I also liked for whatever strange reason. I mean, it wasn't a clean, safe place in New York. It was a grimy, imagine early 80s New York City, LES, better than most. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was LES, East Village, Alphabet City in the early 80s. It was wild style, but it went hand in hand with the music. It was like hardcore was the soundtrack.
Absolutely. It was a special time, and yeah. So let's talk a little bit early on. Like, so how did Madball come about and start? Like, what was the initial? I know we're going back here. You probably talked about this shit a million times.
Yeah, it's okay.
But
good,
what was the original impetus that, like, what was behind that?
It was just from me playing.
Oh, lost him. Oh, we lost Freddy, but I'm sure he'll be back. Just as we were getting cooking. So everybody stay calm, and we'll pop them. We'll pop them back in, and give it a second. Anybody got any comments? Let me see. Drew, the kid on the right on the back cover of the Murphy's Law, back with the Bong album. Is that Freddy? Man, I don't know. That one we could ask him. I don't know. That I don't know. Let me see what else. And he's out. Well, I hope you enjoyed Freddy Madball on the show today. Give him a minute or two. I'm sure he'll be back. In the meantime, hey, Sid.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, well, shit happens, right? Shit happens in the trenches,
Technical difficulties as always, but hey, that's
shit
hardcore.
Shit happens. You know what? In the meantime, let me see what else I got. You know what? I'll take the opportunity here to take this opportunity to shout out our sponsors.
There you go.
Fryette Amplification, and hold on.
Yep.
Hey,
What's up, man?
hey, he's back. We will not accept defeat, man.
Oh my God, what is going on here? Wait, I'm back.
All right.
No, we never give up.
We never give up. Perseverance pays off.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so let me touch again. Let's touch again. Well, let's keep it moving. The origins of Madball. How did it initially come together?
The origins are, when I would sing with AF on anytime I was with them, and so it became a thing. It became a thing where, like, I would come up and I would sing "It's My Life" or the end of Blind Justice into Last Warning. And it sort of became a thing that I did with them anytime I was with them. And, you know, it was sort of their mascot for a little while. And I would come up and do those songs. And then at some point, I was in New York for a summer, and Vinny and Roger thought maybe it'd be cool to record me doing all these old songs, you know?
Right.
And Roger obviously took the lead on all that. I mean, he like set it up. We went to Don Fury's, we did 2-track live, and we did like a bunch of old AF songs basically. And some that weren't on United Blood and some that were. And that was it. That was Ball of Destruction, you know? And then he actually randomly, we did it just kind of for fun. And then he then pitched it to Howie Abrams, who was at Relativity in Effect when AF went over to In Effect, you know? And they loved it. So boom, they released it.
So the first release was Ball of Destruction, and then the second one, which I have here, was
kind of like a demo, you know? It was
yeah,
like
right.
The demo as a 7-inch, you know?
And then Dropping Many Suckers.
Yeah, Dropping Many. Yeah, that was later. That was like when I moved into, you know, 10th Street with my brother, and we decided to revisit the Madball concept. Because I didn't really go there with the intentions of doing that, but it just sort of was like, hey, yeah, remember that Madball thing? Why don't we try to do another thing, you know? Because I would still sing with AF whenever I was with them. It was still a thing. So then Matty Henderson was in the mix at that point. So, and you can hear that in the music. You can hear the kind of change up. And Roger also wrote a lot of those songs. So it was like Roger and Matty musically and mostly Roger lyrically.
Got it. And then that brings us to this, which really, I mean, in a lot of ways, it's probably safe to say that this is where is that sucker? Well, it's probably safe to say in a lot of ways this is kind of what puts you guys on the map, which is Set It Off, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, man. And there's Hoya, he was
right.
A big factor in this record, but also just in the band. You know, he joined before this actually. He joined in '93, and he did a few tours with us, like small little things, South America. We did a few little scattered tours and shows, and then there was some interest. Howie Abrams, who was now with Roadrunner, and
right.
Yeah, there was interest because we were starting to play around, and we had the 7-inch, and we had Dropping Many Suckers, and we were kind of starting to just make the rounds. And so then we decided to get together and write Set It Off. And then that was the collaboration of all the players you see there, especially heavily Matt Henderson and Hoya on the music side.
Right. I have I have a picture here. Let me throw it in the mix. I came across this in the archives. I like this one a lot. This looks like a real early picture of you and Maddie.
Let me see. Yeah, it is. I don't know where that is, but
well, yeah. You know, you see, you know, Maddie with that haircut and stigma back there trying to keep up. You know.
You know what?
So,
I bet you with that haircut, I bet you that was Europe, because I was the resident barber on those Europe tours, and sometimes we didn't have the proper clips to like fade them up properly, so we would just do like the buzz cut kind of like, you know. It was funny. Yeah, that's
Europe. Great. That's great. So it was around this time that you and I first started working together. And I want to play a clip here.
Thank you, by the way. You were the only person that came up and was like, "Hey, we should do a video." Otherwise, there would have never been a video.
Well, you know, for those out there, a little background on that is at the time I was doing music videos. I produced the Biohazard videos and Typo Negative and Onyx Slam and Run DMC. And listen, I'm a lover of New York hardcore, and I saw Madball play, and you guys really brought it back to me. You guys, you know, it was hardcore was sort of going in a lot of directions.
Oh yeah.
And you guys really like spiritually brought it back for me. And the first time I saw it, I was like, I fucking love this band, and I want to do a video with these guys. And I had, you know, I always, whenever we would do like an Onyx video or something or a Typo, if there was a little, if there was a little film left over, I'd save it in the refrigerator, right?
Nice.
And just wait, you know. So you know, I had a little bit of film, and you know, I remember coming to you guys and saying, "Yo, I want to do a video with you guys," and you guys were like, "Huh?
Yeah, what's that?"
We don't have money for that, right?
We love videos. I mean, I was always into music videos and stuff, but like, I guess we couldn't grasp the concept of someone wanting to do a video of us. You know, we're like, you know, it was like, what? Okay, yeah, why not?
And you were like, we don't have money for that. I said, don't worry about it. I want to do it. I don't give a fuck. I got it. Don't worry about it. So let me play a clip of that, and for all our people out there, and here we go.
You ever make it happen within this cell? Cause what I feel, revenge is what I seek. No hesitation or turn back. I gotta do it. I have no choice. Gotta do what I gotta do for the crew.
That's funny. OZ. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
I can't let my feelings get in the way. Why you turn your back on the way?
All right, so
doesn't get more gorilla than that, right?
woo! I love it. Yo, honestly, man, to this day, it's still one of the favorite videos I've ever done, man. It's just it's just so it's real. It's grimy.
It's raw as
it's
hell.
New York. It's New York City, and it really. I love that video, man. And you know,
I do too, man. It was so guerrilla, but it was like what people don't realize is like that's Jersey Alley right there. That's in Little Italy, right by Vinny's house. And around that time, like Vinny's house was like one of our headquarters, you know, his apartment rather. And so we just basically jumped out of Vinny's apartment, went downstairs, went around the corner and filmed Down by Law, you know?
Yeah.
That was like right in the hood, you know, one of our hoods.
Yeah, yeah.
That alley all the time. We used to go to Roadrunner. We walked right through that alley to go to Broadway, to go to Roadrunner. Sometimes we take that shortcut to left, you know, we go through the back, to Mulberry, through the Jersey Alley, and then go the back way, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, and I like the comment here. Stigma with the mustache and the bandana. You know, that was the look back then for Stigma. You know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, and I have to say that after we did that video, you guys went and did another record, and you guys gave me a call to do the video for that record. And you know, I gotta say, I've said it before, is you know, it's rare in this business. You know, you usually work with people and then they get a few bucks, and it's happened many times to me where I've done a low budget video for somebody and really put my back into it. And then when they get to sort of a couple of bucks, you know, the record label tells them, oh, you should work with this person to do that. So it really meant a lot, and still means a lot, that you guys said, hey, we want Drew Stone to do this next video. And that was the Pride video.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We there was no one else up in, you know, in the running for that. We were like, yeah, Drew's doing the next video. And yeah, cool. Everyone was cool. Everyone was on board, you know.
let's play a clip of that a second. Let me line that sucker up.
That was a fun time.
And, yeah, that's a whole nother one. Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it? I gotta find it. I gotta poke around and find this one. Wait, hold on. Down by law. Oh, I got rid of it. Hold on. You know, it's a one-man show here, you know. So
No, it's all good, man. I dig it.
yeah,
I like how you're rolling it out, man. This is cool.
man. You know, hold on. I got to get past the start. I got to get past the Star Trek ad so I could line it up. So here we go.
I saw the Ratbones collectibles.
That was cool, right?
The kid on there.
There we go.
Cool stuff. There he goes.
Times are changing for the worse. Gotta keep a positive outlook. Growing up in such violent times. Have some faith and you'll get by. Thinking back when I was a kid. Times have changed so much since then. All grown up, I gotta do for myself. Refuse to depend on anyone else. Life's hard, struggles sometimes. In the end, I'll get what's mine. But for now, I deal with the times. Have some faith and I'll get by. Thinking back when I was a kid. Times have changed so much since then. Oh, no, I gotta do for myself.
Woo!
Yeah, that spot was awesome, huh?
You know that spot in Brooklyn. I don't know if you've seen it in the past couple of years, but
Oh, I'm sure there's buildings all over the place.
it doesn't exist anymore. It's a brand new. It's like a neighborhood now. It's a fucking.
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
it's
That was Willie B area, right? Right by the water.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
right on Kent Avenue, right?
Yeah,
There was a big.
Yeah, that was the one. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, it's a
and
whole world there. There's like a city inside of a city there. It's wild.
It's unbelievable, and sometimes, you know, when I drive through there, the street signs, and I'll just catch a moment and I'll like trip out and be like, wow.
I know.
You know, because not only did we do the Madball Pride video there, but I shot some of Biohazard Punishment there.
I remember.
I did Fat Joe and the Youngsters there. You know, I did five fucking videos in that crazy location.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, it was organically what it was. I mean, you couldn't, like, that wasn't like a Hollywood stage set or something. You know what I mean? Like that was what it looked like around there. You know, the graph and the burnt out cars and all that. It was it's crazy that's Willie B, right? It's like one of the trendiest places in the world right now.
Yeah, it's
right
crazy.
On top of the Pride video, it's like just smash the Pride video down and just plop this whole city on top of it. That's Williamsburg, one of the most popular places in the world.
Yeah, we really kind of caught the tail end. You know, we got in there, and the gentrification really went to the next level, and you know that's the part of New York that really doesn't exist anymore.
Right. But we captured it at least, right?
Yeah, let me show you. I got a great I got a couple of production shots from deep in the Stone Films NYC archive. Here's a shot of you and me on the set of that video. You know, you see Maddie over there on the left. That's me with the head of hair and the walkie-talkie here behind me. But this was shot, that day when we were knocking it out.
Awesome.
Yeah,
man, that's good footage right there.
Yeah, good shit. Let me ask you a question. At any point, while you were doing Madball, did you ever think about doing something else with your life? Did you ever think about maybe, maybe I want to, I'm just wondering, did anything ever come into play?
Always. See, that's the thing. It's like, in the first many years of Madball, it really couldn't sustain us all. So we were just like, we would work. We would all have like odd jobs in between Madball, and there were a few times when I thought about, I was a longshoreman for a little while. It was brief. All my jobs were brief because I always chose Madball over everything else.
Right.
But I had a couple of jobs that were like, I'm not, forget that. That's whatever. But I had some jobs that could have potentially been good career situations, but Madball always won. Like I said, I was briefly a longshoreman, and that if you stay in that union for a long time and retire from something like that, you move up in seniority and you get paid pretty decent money and you can make a living in our life. But had I gone that route, I wouldn't be where I am today, and I wouldn't be who I am today. It just wasn't that wasn't in the plans. I had several other things. I mean, even while Madball was on break or hiatus, when we actually broke up in 2000 or whatever it was, 2001, I can't remember somewhere around there, we broke up, and we weren't doing music for a good year and a half, 2 years or whatever. And I got into doing security, which is not anything glamorous, but I was doing security for friends of mine who were promoters. So I was like kind of like looking after their interest, and so for a little while there, I even had my own cards. I had kind of had almost like my own little security firm briefly. And I could have run with that, but then, hardcore started calling again.
Hey, look, your brother
calling, and I came back to it,
Your brother just chimed in. Sorry, bro, I ruined your life. LOL.
It didn't ruin my life. It was it's great. Yeah, I mean, look, I was always a rebellious kid, and I could have also. It could have gone a positive route. It could have gone a negative route. You know, so you might have ruined my life. You might have saved my life. You know what I'm saying? We can look at it from many different perspectives.
Absolutely.
I'd rather, I'd look at it more like he enriched my life.
Here's I just want to say to everybody out there, any questions for Freddy? Please post up any questions for Freddy. Let's see, let's see what we can ask him. Didn't Freddy work construction once? Didn't Freddy work construction once?
Once, many moons ago. No, I worked construction many times. That was another thing that I almost was going to go. I was a plumber's apprentice for a little while with an outfit out of Staten Island. And I lived in southern Brooklyn at the time. So I used to have to cross the Verrazano to go to Staten Island to work with JP Corey, which was a plumbing outfit out there. And shout out to them. I think they're still around, I would imagine. And I almost got into that trade, which would have actually been the best of all the trades that I did. Would have been one of the better options, because anyone knows that the plumbing trade is a great trade. But I didn't go that route either, man. I all the construction things I did. I mean, I was everything from a laborer to, a helper to like plumbing. I did a little bit of electrical stuff with my brother. Very little. My brother's a very good electrician, actually. He knows his way around electrical. He's good. He actually wired up a few places, and I assisted him with a few places. But Yeah, I mean, it was Madball. Madball was always there was always another tour offer, another album thing, But it's funny because Madball, we never took it serious enough where we gave up everything just to do Madball.
Right.
And also it was the finances of it all, the financial side of it. We had it. Madball wasn't making enough for us to like survive, so we would always have to have a job.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, let's touch on Hazen Street for a second.
Okay.
You got together Hazen Street. You put that record out. You had a nice run with it. You've done a couple of reunion shows here and there. Is there any? Here's a question from Greg Whitbread, excuse me. Any new Hazen Street activity in the future?
Well, Hazen Street has never officially disbanded, so there's always a possibility of Hazen Street doing something. Hazen Street was a project that my buddy Toby Morse sort of orchestrated and put all the players together, and then we all came together and we created that album, which is actually one of my proudest moments doing music. I really loved working on that. But there's a new song floating around. Chad sent me the music, and I wrote the lyrics and the vocal patterns to it, and which was kind of always kind of how that whole Hazen Street was. And, Chad kind of would lay the foundation, and then, we would come on there and do our thing with it. And so there's a new song floating around that no one's ever heard. One. And maybe another 2 or 3 will pop up. So you never know.
Cool. Good stuff. Here's another question from Bernardo. Any follow-up to Catholic Guilt?
Yeah, definitely. That's another project of mine. It was my hip hop thing. I'm sure Drew. I've always been a lover of hip hop. I've always been a big fan of hip hop. I mean, I was listening to hip hop back when I was listening to AF first. That's one of a music, a culture, rather. A genre, but a culture as well that I've always been big into since I was a little kid. But so I ended up doing Catholic Guilt, but that's been like 10 years now. So to answer your question, there's definitely going to be a follow-up to Catholic Guilt. It's just, it got harder and harder once I started having a family, and Madball started getting busier. So when I did Catholic Guilt, I had a little more time on my hands. Same with Hazen Street. Madball was sort of, maybe we were going to come back, maybe we weren't. So I had more time on my hands back in those periods. But I'll get to it, man. There's going to be a follow-up for sure.
Cool. Here's an interesting question. I like this one. This is from our friend Metal Gabe. Can you talk a little bit about that Agnostic Front tour where you filled in for a few shows? And what's the story behind that video where you're singing for AF in 1988 and Rogers playing bass?
The AF tour is the one, the 92 tour, I believe, with Obituary, Malevolent Creation, and Cannibal Corpse. And yeah, I was on that tour as a roadie. I was actually working. I was no longer a mascot. I had been, I don't know if it's an upgrade. It might be a downgrade. I was downgraded to roadie. And I was just, I was just happy to be, it was cool. It was like, yeah, I'll jump on the tour. I'll help out. And then, of course, my brother started, giving me the mic to do my songs. And then something happened on the tour. I think it was a hernia or something like that. And then it turned into me doing the whole set because he had to go home for like an emergency surgery or something.
Ooh.
Yeah. And this tour was so goddamn long that he left, I took over, and he came back and finished the tour. That's how long this tour was.
Wow.
I mean, it's ridiculous. It was like 2 months. I don't know. It was like, so he went home, got a procedure done, came back. But I think I filled in for like 2 weeks, like 2 weeks of it.
Wow.
And it was pretty weird, man. It was pretty weird because, Roger had his, AF is AF and Roger's Roger, and right. He has his look and his presence, and he's the front man for AF. And I told him, I don't want to do this. You know, I don't want to do this. You know, I'm like, I'm happy to do my couple of songs. I'll do my Madball thing, but I'm not trying to replace you, man. Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
And we actually argued about it. He said, well, you're doing it. You know, so then I was like, well, what am I gonna do, man? You know, I'm not gonna. I'm a team player, so I jumped in there and I filled in for him. And like the first fill-in show was like Detroit, with all these hardcore dudes.
It's always on in Detroit, right?
Added up
Always.
faces, getting ready for AF, getting ready to see Roger and Stigma, and here comes my little skinny ass. Because I was lanky and skinny at that time. You know, I was young,
Right.
man. And but you know, I went for it, and they appreciated it, and I actually, you know, got to be very friendly with the Detroit camp after that. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's a question from Pepe. Which new hip hop bands do you like, if any?
New, like
New.
Nowadays hip hop.
He's saying new. Anything new?
Man, I don't like. What are those? What are new? I mean, underground.
too
I like
new.
all my underground people as always. You know, like Slain and Vinny Paz, but that's not new. That's nothing new about them. They've been at it for years and years. Man.
Well, what are you listening? What are you listening to? Like, what's your go-to? What hip hop? What hip hop stuff?
My hip hop go-to is 90s. You know, although I've been listening to hip hop since the 80s. You know, and I'm not like, you know, I want to, you know, I'm a 40-something-year-old dude, you know, but like hip hop started in the late 70s, early 80s. I've been listening to hip hop since the early 80s. And so I love all that old school stuff, but I really, really, really connected with the 90s because I was a teenager. I was coming into my own. I'm turning, you know, going from late teens into my 20s. Like the 90s really spoke to me in a major way. So the 90s is always my go-to era for hip hop. But I mean, I nowadays, it's not that I'll hear stuff on the radio or wherever, online, YouTube, whatever it is. I'll hear stuff and I'll like certain things. But there's just not a lot of things I can get behind like the 90s hip hop era. You know what I mean? There's more things I can get behind on the underground level than on the, you know, mainstream hip hop level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Chucky Brown, our friend Chucky Brown says, it's real. That was really the golden era of hip hop. You know.
It's all perspective. You know, someone that's older would say, hey, 80s was the golden era. You know, but me, I for me, 90s was a golden era of hip hop for sure.
Well, it's like what we talked about before. You know, me and your brother are the same age. You know, our golden era of hardcore was the first wave of American hardcore. You know, and then sort of things, the wave sort of goes in and out. The wave comes in and I see Madball, new generation. I'm like, this is, you know, these guys are doing it the way I love it. You know, it's like throwback. And, you know, it's cyclical. It just goes back. And then I think hip hop is like that. Hardcore is like that. I think art in general is like that, right?
Yeah. And you shouldn't like, you know, embrace that time. But it doesn't mean you should just stay stuck in that time either, you know, because there could be, like you said, it comes in waves, and there may be a wave of some cool stuff coming, you know, tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like you should you should always keep that open mind, man. You know, because I'm
Absolutely.
down for you.
Hey, could you stick with me a second? Stick with me a second. I just want to shout out our sponsors. All right.
Do it.
Yo, it's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, sponsored by Fryette Amplification and New York Hardcore Comics. Thank you, everyone from around the world, for tuning in. Great show with Freddy. This Sunday, we got Vinny Stigma on A7 Sunday Matinee Show. Wednesday, we have an old school Boston Hardcore show. And Friday, we have Sub-Zero. Lots of other shows coming up. We got Craig Sitari. We got Jimmy G on Tuesday. We got Jimmy G from Murphy's Law on Tuesday. Also, just a reminder, please check out my Patreon page. Support this show. Support the A7 shows. Here is the Patreon link. I want to thank everyone that has thrown their their hat in the ring. I am an independent filmmaker. I'm one of the last of the independent filmmakers. I need your support to survive. So please, everyone that has gotten involved, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. That said, anybody else? Let's do a couple more questions. We're heading down the home stretch here, and let's bring back Freddy. Hey,
Yeah,
buddy.
man. Yeah, support my homie Drew Stone, man. Support. We those of us in these hardcore trenches, man. We need the support. It ain't easy. It ain't easy being a hardcore kid. Hey, I wanted to answer a quick question, and that individual who mentioned 1988, that
Please.
was kind of unofficially the first Madball show. I think it was New Rochelle, and it was supposed to be an agnostic front show, but something happened where Maddie and Craig couldn't make it or didn't make it. I forget. Maybe they got in a car accident. I don't know. I forget what happened.
Wow.
So instead of canceling the show, my brother, being the clever, creative guy that he is, he said, well, let's just turn it into a Madball show because we have Madball here. It's Roger, Vinny, Willie, and myself. And we did a Madball show. We did a Madball show. So 88, that could have officially been called the first Madball show, right there,
Roger's good like that.
Yeah, he's good like that. Yeah, he's quick on his feet in those situations.
I love him like that.
Yeah.
Hey, so here's a question from May over in Europe. You did a quote unquote last European tour in the mid to late 2000s.
There it is. Yeah.
What was it that made you think you guys weren't going to do it again, and what made you change your mind?
That's a good question. Thank you, by the way. Thank you, May. That was our last tour. I mean, and in our minds, it's funny because that just brings me back to that time period. In our minds, that was it. That was going to be our last time ever being in Europe. And we were just going to go do whatever job or follow whatever other, wherever life was going to take us, that's where we were going to go, be it work, be it whatever. And that was our mindset because we were having issues. I had gone through some legal stuff. And so, I had that pending, and then we had issues with the lineup. Things were getting funny with those guys. They were starting to get nervous about, I don't know what was happening with me. And then I think they honestly weren't committed to doing the full-time touring thing as well. So they were starting to get like, wet feet about the whole thing, and it was like a culmination of things where Hoy and I just got so frustrated that we were like, man, we're done with this, man, because we're not gonna like tarnish our name, we're not gonna just do this just to do this. Like, we have to feel right about doing it.
Of course.
So we actually grabbed Mitz for that last tour that she's talking about in 2000.
Right.
So Mitz was on our last tour ever.
Right.
And then when we decided to come back, Mitz was obviously the first choice at being guitarist because he had come on board for that tour, and then Mitz ended up being with us for a lot of years, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a question. I got a question. I got a photo I want to throw up for a second.
How'd you get iced? Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. And but this is a photo. I love this shot. Do you remember where this was from?
Oh man, was that from was that Brooklyn Bazaar?
That was the premiere for my film for the New York Hardcore.
Oh yes. That was at the entrance. That was at the entrance of that theater.
Yeah, and I have one more from that night, which is great, and
that was a fun night, man. That was cool.
It was fucking great. This is a great shot. I love this shot. There you go.
Oh yeah, that is a cool one, man. I love that picture too. Yeah, I think I posted that once. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, man.
That was at the premiere of the New York Hardcore Chronicles film the SVA Theater, and I just want to say too that early on when I started making the film, you wrote up a few really kind words, and they really went a long way, and I appreciate that. I really do, man.
No thing, man. You know what's up. No thing at all, man. My pleasure.
you know, here's a question from our friend Metal Gabe again. How'd you get our friend Ice-T on your record? We love Ice-T. He's a good
Ice-T.
dude. How did you get him on your record?
Well, I was like on a record with him, which was Jamie's band with Ice Pick with Zach, you know. They threw me on the song, and Ice-T ended up being on that song, but I never met him then. But we played with Body Count in the city at Gramercy, and I did meet Ice-T. He actually came to where we were and wanted and you know, he showed us a lot of respect, man. He was like, yo,
Yeah.
He knew exactly who we were. You know, he had been kind of poking his head back into like what was going on in New York, and like said that he was really digging what we did. And he mentioned a couple other bands like Wisdom and Chains, which I thought was cool because I love them as well. So he was kind of in the know. It was kind of like, wow, okay, Ice-T's knows what's
He's
up.
on it.
And yeah, and we chatted for a minute, and we, you know, a lot of respect thrown back and forth, and so that kind of stuck with me. And I mean, I grew up with Ice-T with the hip hop stuff. I loved Ice-T. He was one of the West Coast guys that I really liked and respected. And then, you know, he started doing the heavy stuff, whatever. And I don't know. We had this song, and I just thought of him for the song. So I reached out to Jamie, of course, from Hatebreed, because I figured if anyone's got to connect to Ice-T that I would know, it's probably Jamie. And sure enough, he put us in touch. And I just asked him, and he, you know, without hesitation, said, "I'll make it happen for you." You know.
Yeah, and I got to say, I've crossed paths with him a couple times through the years, but a couple of years ago, I ran into him, and I had a DVD of the New York Hardcore Chronicles film on me, right? And I walked up to him, and I took the DVD out. And I'm walking up to him with it in my hand, and he goes, "I seen it. It's fucking great." He said, he said, "New York Hardcore Chronicles. I seen it on Amazon. It's fucking great." And I said, "Yo, I directed." He said, "Yo, awesome. That's my boy." You know, like, I was shocked that, you know, he's up on it, man.
Yeah, man. Ice-T's with it, man. Shout out to Ice, man. He's definitely. He has his ear to the street, man. He knows what's up.
For sure. Anything as we head down the home stretch here? Anybody you want to shout out? Anything you want to mention? Anything going on?
Oh, man, I appreciate you having me. I appreciate you having me on your show, man. It's cool. This was cool to do. It's nice to take a break from the monotony of just, you know, this whole thing, man. You know what I'm saying? This whole craziness. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. The upside of all this is that I'm with my family all the time, which is when we're on tour, you know, I just can't wait to be home with my family. So I'm getting a lot of family time in, which is wonderful, you know, but the downside is financially things are tight, and we want to get out there and play again, you know? So this is, so it's been rough for everybody. I mean, I know a lot of people losing jobs. I think it's time to get things going again, man. I really do, because I'm not going to get too deep into my views on this, politically speaking, or whatever. I'm not going to go there, but I have my own opinions and views about this whole situation. But I think it's time we start, you know, getting back on track, you know, getting back to what it should be, you know. And I think this whole thing was a little bit blown out of proportion, but that's not to be insensitive to people that health-wise were affected by it, because we were all affected by it financially and otherwise. That's a fact. But, you know, health-wise, some people were more affected by it than others, you know, and so I don't want to be insensitive about, you know, about that. But hey, man, you know, we could talk about that on another show. That's a whole other show. We can do a whole other show about that side of it.
There you go. Hey, two things. Let's talk about the bowl a second.
Oh, yeah.
And people ask, what's up with the Black and Blue Bowl this year? You guys really had a great fucking lineup. It was really a return to form, for the bowl.
A return to glory. No, I'm just kidding.
No, listen, bro, it kind of was, man. I mean, it was an incredible lineup, and people were really excited about it. And I know I was really thrilled, man, because the Black and Blue Bowl, the yearly Black and Blue Bowl, has become such an important thing, for New York hardcore, and people from around the world come in for it. And like in my film, we talk about it. It's become really, it's such a mainstay of what makes New York hardcore great. And you had a great lineup, and then this thing hit. Where's it at now?
It's just another one of those frustrating things, man. It was like when I had to cancel, a few Madball tours, I started immediately thinking about the bowl, man. I was like, oh no, we worked so hard on this lineup, and here we go. Is this thing going to be affected? And then sure enough, the bowl, we had to postpone it. And thankfully, we were able to get all the bands to commit to the postponement date, which was in September. Now I have my fingers crossed that by September, man, if we don't have our shit together by September as a country, as a world, as a people, if we don't have our shit together by then, I think we're gonna have there's some concerns there. It's gonna be a lot more to be worried about than just a show or a Black and Blue Bowl or whatever. But I'm hoping, I'm trying to put that positive energy out there, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed, and I'm feeling good about September. And we've already changed the date. I mean, all the bands are locked in, so it's officially on. So yeah, it's officially on for September, barring some catastrophic weird thing goes on, but it shouldn't. It shouldn't, because we should be able to play. We should be able to be back in action. You know what I'm saying? By September, that's a long ways away, man. September is a long. I know New York is especially a rough place right now. It's just logistically, even just besides everything else. Logistically, I know New York's it's a tough place to host a show, but I think.
Oh, and he's gone. And just like that, like the end of The Usual Suspects, Kaiser Sose, and just like that, he was gone. Anywho, hopefully he'll be back. He zapped out on us, but we're heading down the home stretch here. What a great show, and Freddie's great. Just a quick reminder here. In the meantime, got a couple of shows coming up. Just announced them recently. This Tuesday is Jimmy G for Murphy's Law. This is going to be awesome. So everybody tune in to that. And then also we just announced Mr. Craig Ahead Satari. Let me get this. Let me get this banner out of your face. Hold on. Craig Ahead Satari's coming up. That's going to be a great one. Probably end up just talking about boxing the whole show, but what the fuck. But Craig Ahead Satari. And then this Friday, get your shoes and socks on, kids. It's right around the corner. This Friday is Sub-Zero with Lou, Larry, and Richie. So that's coming up this Friday. And right now, here's Freddy Madball.
Yo, sorry about that, man. Sorry about
Hey, listen, just as long as you come back, we're okay with it.
I'm back. Yeah, once
So,
we start talking about weird stuff, weird things starts happening to the phones. When you start
I got a great question here. This is from Mandy Ackerman, Mandy and Joe Ackerman in Tallahassee, Florida. Okay. And this one kind of made me chuckle because thanks to Madball for always playing Florida, it made me chuckle because I heard Mike Gallo in my head talking about how Roger always books the yearly Agnostic Front Florida tour every year, and how Florida is sort of a big hotbed of Madball and Agnostic Front activity.
Yeah, I mean, always has been. Goes back
Yeah.
to the '80s, actually.
Yeah.
When my family, you know, we have a lot of family down here, but in Florida, but yeah, it's AF's been coming here since the '80s, and Madball has been touring Florida since the '90s. So there's always been a connection besides the family connections. There's just been a connection with the scene down here, and so yeah. Thank you for supporting us, Florida, everybody. We don't get to Tallahassee as much as we get to like the east side of Florida. Well, we get to Tampa, that's on the west side, but yeah, Tallahassee, we got to hit Tallahassee a little bit more. But yeah, we got a lot of love for Florida, and Florida has a lot of people that support us. So yeah, we appreciate it.
Cool. Hey, heading down the home stretch, I want to bring in some of the show regulars. Let's bring in Ratbones.
Ready?
And Sid the Kid and Stephen Messina. You know, the gang's all here. These are my guys here. And you know,
Friday.
What do you like, Freddie?
Oh, no, it's fine. You want to change it?
I want to thank you for coming on the show, Freddie. And it was great having you. And you know, it was a great show. So thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Drew. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me anytime, man. Just hit me up.
Okay, we'll be in touch, and be safe, man. We'll talk to you soon. All right, take care.
Thanks, brother. You as well.
Right.
Well, everybody out there, be safe. Respect.
Take care. Well, there you have it. Freddie Madball, that was a lot of fun. Let's bring the other guys on. You know, sorry about that, you guys. He had some audio issues, and it just got crazy, you know. But that was a great show. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, honestly, it was.
In depth.
Hey, you know what? Ratbones.
Yeah.
While we're on here, I want to ask you about something. Where the fuck is that picture? Let's talk about this, Ratbones, while we're here. You ready? While we're here, let's do a little Ratbones. Let me find it. What's going on here, buddy? What's happening here?
Woo!
St. Andrew's Hall, I think it's 88, the Buzzcocks at St. Andrew's Hall in Detroit. And that's coming off that top beam of the balcony. And that's back in the day, like where the whole crowd knew you. And if you were going to do something, everyone was like, yo, there goes Ratbones. Let's go over there. So you can see all my brother Scotty from Piston Broke and South Pole Manors is down there. I think that's either Todd or Big Gum, another guy, Will Fortner. So, you know, all the little regulars are down there getting, you can see the hands up getting ready to catch me. Not like now. You splat.
And this is a Buzzcock show?
Huh? At a
Buzzcock?
It was, everything was punk rock back then. Everything was punk. It was punk.
Wow. St. Andrew's Hall.
Things weren't so selective back then. Everything fell under one umbrella. The punk rockers hung with the skinheads and the goths and the you know, whatever. It was different.
And this is Detroit.
Yeah, that's a pretty famous photo. I'm glad that's me.
Yeah, right.
I got long hair in that photo. I look like Tarzan. You can't really see it, but I love the ripped knees, you know.
You're definitely catching some air there for sure.
You could have been a stuntman as a profession, you know. It's Jimmy Flash.
Here you go. Here's a great comment. Rat Jimmy Snuka Bones.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good, man. Keep them coming. How you doing, Sid? What's up with you?
Oh, man, like I said, just hanging in there, working. Luckily, you know, like I said, through all the pandemic, I'm just really grateful to be working and helping out with the community where I live, and just helping out. I mean, if you can't necessarily go out, try to do your best, and you know, just try to help in any way possibly you can. If you got to donate, make masks, or just, you know, just be there for somebody who really needs, you know, mentally they might not be there, but just someone to talk to. Just make them feel like they're important because everybody here is important in this world. Everybody.
Words of wisdom from Sid the Kid. Thank you, Sid.
Always.
Hey, Steven, where are you at? Huh?
Steven, we can't hear you.
Well, I'll do the narrative here. Well, here I am at the train yard after work, and I'm trying to get the fuck out of this place so I can get back to Long Island, and I could work with Drew Stone and get a few more flyers together for upcoming shows and dig up picture of the day for tomorrow. So I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you around the world, everybody, for digging my pictures, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye. Steven Messina signing off. That was Steven Messina, ladies and gentlemen. That was a good, Ratbones, that was a good call with the Madball. That was good.
Always a good time, guys.
That was great. So, okay, listen, you guys. So Sunday, the next show is Sunday, and that is this banger right here. This is a new flyer that Steven put together. No one's seen this one yet. Bam!
Stigma.
There you go. There you go. So that's the next show coming up on this Sunday. It's an A7 Sunday matinee show with Vinny Stigma and Daniel LePage of Blood. We're getting some girls in the mix. This is going to be fantastic. My dad's going to come back on the show. Arnie Stone's going to break down some knowledge as to why he loves New York hardcore. And so that's coming up. That's coming up this Sunday. So you guys, thanks for being a part of the show. And we'll talk to you guys soon, all right?
Thanks for having us.
Be safe out there, everybody.
There you have it. That was a great show. A lot of fun. I want to thank Freddie Madball for stopping by. That was really great. And listen, I know things are tough out there. I know times are tough. I'm just trying to bring in a little something into your world. You know, we try not to get into politics here and too much and, you know, kind of the whole bumminess of the world out there. I'm just trying to bring a little relief, a little hardcore relief to your world. And I hope that it's helping, man. I really do. Bring yourself out of your head a little bit, and please take care of yourselves and be careful. This isn't going to last forever, and sooner or later, you know, we'll be back at it. So once again, I want to thank all my patrons. Thank you so much. There's my Patreon page going by there. That inspires me. When people get behind me as an artist, it really inspires me. And I love doing the show, and we're going to keep doing it. We're going to bring on a lot of great guests. You know, I got a lot of stuff up my sleeve on the Patreon page. I just released a never before seen video from 1992 of me singing with Freddy and Evan from Biohazard and Danny from Biohazard playing drums and Billy from Biohazard playing guitar and Craig Satari playing bass. That's all on my Patreon page. Some never before seen photo of Minor Threat and SSD Control and a never before seen antidote thing. So anyway, support a motherfucker, will you? Anywho, thank you. We'll talk to you soon. Let me tee up my outro music, and be safe, be good, take care.